And I'm going to pull this guitar that's behind me right here because it's one of a few that I've owned. People might recognize it. And I'm going to show it to you. So here's one of the vintage guitars I have in my collection. I have a number of these and I've had a few of them. And as you can see, this is early ESP stuff. And I think some of you recognize it. So I've already done the calibration on these 3 frets. And this one says 0.836. And the 3rd fret says 0.873. And the 12th fret says 0.942. So it also has a very original shape. It's not anything I can explain. You kind of got to be looking down at it. This neck actually is a 3-piece maple neck. So it's got 3 pieces of wood that you can visibly see on the back of this neck. And of course, it has a maple fretboard in the front. The really cool thing about this guitar, and of course it's a Lynch profile, is that it has a 16-inch fretboard radius. So I'm just going to mention that really quickly. So I could measure this up for you, but take a good look at it. This is a pretty cool neck. It says ESP on it right here. And it's got some other unique details. There's some history behind this guitar, and I'm going to get to it a little later. But just so you know, the things that are built into my AXN guitars, I've acquired the data and the information for all this stuff from decades worth of just guitar geekery, really. I mean, I collected so many guitars and I wanted to know why they have certain attributes. I had to figure out what made them tick. And so I really had an obsession for decades. And that's what kind of separates my guitars from everyone else, because I'm not just replicating things that exist that people like. I'm actually sort of taking some risks. I've recreated some really fast playing, really cool neck profiles from the 1980s. And really they were pioneered by some luthiers. Some luthiers in Japan were a big influence on me. And according to what I've learned, some of those gentlemen have passed away because in the 80s they were already in their late 50s. So some of those secrets are gone. And the only way to acquire the data is to actually have owned these guitars. So before I go any further, I wanted to show you guys this guitar. And of course the strings are not on it because I'm trying to introduce the guitar. Again, it's going to be a run of 3 AXNs that have my graphics on it. They have all the attributes that people like from my guitars, like this super wide sustain block. This is a German Floyd Rose. It's got the Seymour Duncan I developed with Seymour Duncan. And it's got, you know, this GLU neck shape. And I wanted you guys to know a little bit about that. On the guitars I'm doing, though, I did stick with a 15-inch radius like I put on all my AXNs, but it's got a GLU shape. One thing I do have to say about this neck shape is I kept the same nut size as a Lynch Kamikaze, and what that is it's a 1 3/4-inch nut shelf, but it's got a smaller 43 millimeter R3 nut on it. So that leaves you a little bit of space between the strings right here and here on either side of your E strings. So that's something that ESP put into the Lynch models. It's pretty cool. It actually is pretty bitchin' when you're playing a flat fretboard like that with having so much space over here. So I wanted to get out a little bit. I wanted to show you guys some of these things, and hopefully we're going to get more information as I put out some videos and teach you a little bit more about why there was some really, really innovative luthiers coming out of California and coming out of Japan in the 80s that did certain things that unfortunately they didn't last the test of time. So they're pretty bitchin' and unique, and they're very cool and fun to play. So I'll talk to you guys soon.